What would it be like for a country if it managed to make chips without needing any equipment from the world? Almost all countries ask for help from other nations while making any development. But for a country like China, seeking help is never possible. It's because the countries that can provide help, like the US, never provide any help. When China was making chips, it needed some help, but as always, the West rejected it. So, in return, China has made technology that will end the West's monopolies forever. Welcome back to another exciting episode of our channel. Innovation Diary brings you China's innovation stories, projects, and growing influence in different parts of the world. If you are new to the channel and enjoy learning about fast-paced modernity, especially China's development and growing power, you will find our videos intriguing. In this video, we will talk about the latest technology that China introduced that would make China self-dependent. We will also see how this new technology will boost China's trade. Let's get started. How important is chip production? The chip industry might look like a small sector for those who live under a rock. But for people who are part of development around them, the chip industry is one of the important sectors for a country to survive. A country must work on its chip industry if it wants to develop. And countries like China understand this. It knows that if it wants to compete with other countries and become developed, the chip industry must be given much attention. So, China started investing massively in its chip industry very early. China has also announced to invest of $143 billion in the chip industry in the next 5 years. With this amount of money, you can guess how hard China is working to boost its chip market. But we all know with every new journey comes problems. And when it comes to China, many nations are ready to produce hurdles. The US and Europe cannot see China becoming a nation with the best chip industry, so they decided to limit China. But why would the West want to limit China's chip industry? How does China's success affect them? As the world becomes more developed, countries are fighting a tech war. Every country wants to be the first to make any development, especially in the tech sector. If China becomes a country with great chips, then not only will China become a smart country, but it will also be a huge chip exporter. It is something the West does not want. That's why the West is trying to limit China by all means. But how can the West limit China's chip industry? How is it in the West's hand? Before we continue further, tell us, are you loving the video? If yes, please like and share the video and subscribe to our channel for more videos about China's development, power, and influence on the world. Let's continue now. If China wants to make the chip, it needs limitless equipment. And some of these types of equipment are not made in China. China used to import these machines from other countries. But as soon as China's chip industry got the world's attention, other countries, especially the West, felt insecure. China used to export lithography machines from Europe, but Europe played dirty politics and stopped the exports. It was only possible to make a 7-nanometer chip with the lithography machines. And not just for the 7-nanometer chip, but for many other chips, this machine is necessary. Europe knew how essential this machine was for China. And if they stop the exports, it will limit China's chip production. As expected, they did stab China in the back and stopped exports. They got a $120 million lithography order from China. China ordered it in 2018, but it's been many years, and China has not received a single machine. The West always does that. So, it can be said that relying on Europe will end China's chip production because that's what Europe wants. China needed a way to escape this trouble and be independent. China's government wanted to continue making chips and launch new technologies without hurdles. And to achieve this, China needs to take some extraordinary steps. If China wants to make chips without seeking help outside the country, it must be self-dependent. But the question is, how will China make chips without exporting the equipment from other countries? The answer to this question is simple. China needs to make equipment that is needed to make chips. But how about making chips that do not require much equipment? What will happen if China makes a chip that does not require any foreign equipment? It sounds like a crazy idea, but that's exactly what China did. China made an AI chip Chiming 930 using RISC-V architecture. The Qiming 930 uses a self-developed system. It supports processes like convolutional, linear, pooling, and activation layers and functionally supports common detection and classification models, including but not limited to VGG, ResNet, and YOLO. The good thing about this Qiming 930 chip is that it does not need any help from the world. It only needs equipment that is present in China. The production of this chip was made with the idea of becoming self-sufficient. China did not want to make a new development that would still require help from the West. Instead, China needs to make a chip that can be made in China without any aid. This chip is from a Chinese company and is one of the most reliable. China wanted to make a chip by sticking two 14-nanometer chips to improve its performance or develop new technology. But this new AI chip will use both ideas together. Thus, this chip will double its performance. Now the question is, how will this chip end China's dependence on chip equipment from other countries? The Qiming 930 chip is a huge achievement. It shows how fast China's chipset technology is improving. China couldn't make a 7-nanometer chip without Europe's help, but now it has made a new AI chip. This achievement points toward China's hard work in making technologies possible without asking for help from other nations. It means China is working on technologies that would not require any help from other nations. It will end the demand for Europe's lithography machines. And not just for China, the remaining world would also switch to making chips, and the only country at a loss will be Europe. Apart from that, until the world does not make AI chips like China did, it will want China's help. The world will be importing chips from China, and China will be a huge chip exporter in no time. Currently, China's chip production is enough to fulfill China's chip needs. But in a few years, China will be exporting a lot of chips to the world. In 2022, the U.S. ordered its companies to stop using Chinese chips. But until now, China is the only country that seems to be winning the chip race. It has successfully handled all the hurdles and is making new chip development daily. Even the U.S. companies could not stop using Chinese chips. When the U.S. government ordered them to stop using Chinese chips, they disagreed and continued using them. It simply shows that it does not matter how hard the U.S. tries to stop China from making progress, China has become unbeatable. And if you talk about the chip war, China already seems to win. Do you think China's chip industry will ever stop making progress? Is there any nation that can outstrip China in making chips? Through hard work and plans, it does not look like China will lose the chip war. But what do you think? Comment right below in the comment section. Will the West somehow stop China, or are they just wasting their time? Do you want to watch more videos like this one? If yes, please like and share the video and subscribe to get exclusive videos about how phenomenally China is developing. Until the next video, stay tuned.